They can't be complacent tonight. They only have to look back to their very first season in Europe, when, having scored 7 goals away from home, they then lost 3-2 in the home leg. That was 30 years ago against a team of Danish part-timers. I'm sure there'll be no repeat tonight. Lee Dixon will be aiming to make sure of that on his first appearance since the Coventry City game on the opening day of the season. He's overcome a foot injury to regain the right-back spot. Martin Keown, whose own goal in Denmark gave Odense early encouragement, reverts to the centre of defence to the exclusion of Andy Linnigan and will partner Tony Adams, who's passed a fitness test on an ankle injury. Odense, who won the Danish Cup for the second time in 3 years, also make a defensive alteration. The huge blonde figure of Per Hjort has been drafted in to take the place of the injured Torben Songild. The referee has come from Germany. He's Hans-Jürgen Weber, and the only other time he was over in the British Isles, he was officiating at Wrexham. It could be a nerve-wracking night for the Danes in one of the world's great stadiums, and Arsenal begin by attacking the famous clock end. Odense in the blue and white, and Arsenal, whose Captain Adams here, pushes the ball out of play down that far side, are in their familiar red and white, of course. And Arsenal will look to release Wright and Campbell, of course, with their tremendous pace, and there were problems immediately there for Hemmingson. In the end, he had to put the ball out. And the first cross of the night is cleared easily by Detlefsen. And there's a nice, comfortable catch. Almost like a fielder on the boundary edge for Lars Høgh. Danish international goalkeeper, George Graham, looks pensive, doesn't he? Very thoughtful for the time being. And that's a free kick. Ian Wright will be one of those taking up a position inside or just on the edge of the Odense penalty area. Sean Merson will swing this one in. It's been left totally to him. Høgh has gone to his near post. Both Keown and Adams are up there. Adams lurking around the back post. And Merson floats it. Oof, dearie me. Campbell was very close to a critical touch. And Høgh, very unhappy, I think you could say, with the defenders in front of him. Here it is, you see, and the keeper standing his ground and then coming for it before Campbell got the touch. And now the goalkeeper has committed a free kick by holding on for too long. And that is poor goalkeeping from an experienced man. Høgh played for Denmark in the 1986 World Cup finals in Mexico. He ought to know better than to do that, a man of his experience. So this free kick gives Arsenal a tremendous opportunity. As you can see, it's 3 or 4 yards inside the Odense penalty area. Davis is there. Campbell is there. Wright's taking up a position in the wall. So there are so many options here. Winterburn could hit one. So could Merson. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Merson, and it's charged down. So the 10-man blue wall was effective. Odense's coach there is Kim Brink, making his notes. He's been in charge for a couple of seasons, having come through in charge of the youth team there. Good work, McGoldrick again. The ball in a fairly simple one to clear, though. Dixon keeps Arsenal coming. Campbell's onside here. He's in that area. Kevin Campbell. Høgh makes the save. He just got no side of the defender when they were looking for offside, but he stood his ground and the goalkeeper spread himself well. Campbell's looking a real menace this evening, and under pressure here from Hemmingson, the ball just ran away from him and the keeper was able to narrow the angle. Corner it is. And they're still all in there as McGoldrick delivers it. Høgh goes to catch, punches out. the flag is raised for offside. Well, there are a few Danish fans who've made the journey over from the birthplace of Hans Christian Andersen. Hoping to see a fairy tale, no doubt. It's only the second time Arsenal have competed in the Cup Winners' Cup. The year they did the double, of course, they chose to play in the European Cup. Naturally, now then, here comes Wright. It's just run out of his way. So Arsenal have never actually lost the European Cup Winners' Cup tie. Although they've never won it. That sounds odd. It's because they reached the final, of course, against Valencia. And in 1979-1980, drew 0-0 in the final and lost it on penalties. They weren't actually beaten in the game. And here they have a corner now. Keown's calling for it right on the goal line. It might get to him as well. The punch-out from Hurd was good. Jensen plays it back over there. Adams has stayed up. Now Davis, and they look for offside. He's not off. Tony Adams. Oh dear. If it had been Wright, if it had been Campbell, if it had been Merson, it would now be 1-0. It was Tony Adams. He couldn't believe he was onside. And by far the simplest chance of the night, if not of Tony Adams' career, has been spurned. Well, Adams took it on. Wright was alongside him as well, and he hoofed it over. Great disappointment that for the Arsenal captain, who's not scored since the FA Cup semi-final win over Spurs last year. The Goldrick switched flanks and is trying to get the better of his opponent and wins the corner. I think McGoldrick got fed up of waiting for the ball out on the right, so he decided to do something about it and switch to the left. The Danes would be upset with that now if they conceded a goal and survived for so long. But here's Adams, looked onto the top of the net. That's more like Tony Adams, of course, so we're used to seeing him in that sort of position with the ball landing on his head in the penalty area. And he didn't even have to climb very high for that. He didn't climb at all, in fact, just over. Well met again by Keown, who's been like a rock tonight. And Merson is here. Building down the right again with Ian Wright. Again, they get bodies around him. They certainly know all about the England striker. They've combated him well. Now, here's Charmy. He can run at them. He's got Torrup on his left. Still Charmy, fed it through for Nielsen. And Nielsen got all the way through and then found Seaman denying him a goal. And that again is a clear warning to Arsenal. It's all smiles now, but David Seaman wouldn't have been smiling if he'd been picking that one out of the net. And Alan Nielsen, who's a tremendous worker and a good runner who gets into good positions, took it on from Charmy then and hit the shot straight at David Seaman. And I'm sure they have been just a little lax tonight at times, Arsenal. Always that danger of complacency creeping in. They've won the away leg. Dixon, and Davis, and McGoldrick. He's the one who looks on his mettle. He tries to get around Yacht, goes down, and it will be a free kick. Much as Yacht protests that the Irishman did a little dive, the referee has voted in favour of the free kick against the Dane. And the chant is, come on, you Reds. Arsenal want that one goal tonight, which would stretch their advantage unassailably. Here it is, Campbell! They've waited a long time for the breakthrough, and when it came, the ball flashed into the net off the head of Kevin Campbell. It smiles around Highbury now, as Campbell gets his 6th of the season, and it's surely the one that's going to be good enough to take Arsenal into the next round of the Cup Winners' Cup. You won't get a more positive header than that. Campbell, who scored against Benfica 2 years ago, has responded just when Arsenal needed him most. tall defenders, Hemmingson there. Yorks couldn't do anything about that. Arsenal having won the free kick, more importantly, in the lead. Goldrick is caught. And I don't think that's worth a yellow card, surely. I think he just caught the man. Nielsen. That was a fair decision. And Arsenal are going to make a change. And I think they're going to bring Ian Wright off, who's not really been himself this evening, and give Alan Smith a run. So Ian Wright, looking a little bit jaded this evening, leaves the field. And Alan Smith, who was very much an instrumental member of the side 2 years ago in the European Cup, gets a run out, wearing the number 14 shirt. There is Smith, first time. It's a good touch from him as well, and here might be a goal. Campbell inches off it. Well, Alan Smith played his part in that move, which nearly produced a second for Kevin Campbell. Good ball in again from McGoldrick. He really has troubled them all night, and that's how close Campbell was. Again, it was a poor ball out of defence from Odense. He'll be happy with the fact that they've competed well in one of the most difficult arenas to play, but unhappy that his side appears to be going out at the first hurdle.
Keep changing it. Keep playing 2 touches. No, you don't want it there. You don't want it there.
Inside the area is Smith. There are 2 men alongside him, but it's been reversed to Davis. That's a great ball in. Chances here, surely. Jensen. No. All he had to do was cut it back, and Campbell had to be a scorer. Jensen tried to waltz his way around Herc, and eventually the keeper got a touch, but what a lovely ball that is from Paul Davis. Delicate. Jensen tried to go on the outside of the keeper, who just got his fist to it. Still, it's an Arsenal corner. They want a second. Here comes Adams again. Keown can't control it. Davis. Jensen. Nielsen knocks it out. Arsenal's way. And there's certainly going to be no repetition of that amazing match 30 years ago when the side from Copenhagen, Stavnet, who were a combination team, called to a reserve side, came to Arsenal and won 3-2. Here's Jensen, the Dane, crossing, Campbell! No! And he'll be bitterly disappointed not to have got his second goal, because that was a really clear shoot opportunity. Jensen, good ball in, heard the keeper started, stopped, Campbell, the header wasn't powerful enough. The Danes are perhaps not the strongest in the competition, but they've made Arsenal fight all the way in it. And certainly for the first 20 minutes in Denmark, they made life very uncomfortable. Torup tries to do exactly that to them now, but that was good defensive work. And Nielsen's battled well to win it back. And he's got on, and they've allowed Nielsen to score a goal. That goes down to sheer tenacity on the part of Alan Nielsen. Seaman will be disappointed, Arsenal totally disappointed, and that small group of fans who've made the journey from Denmark feel it's been made worthwhile by Alan Nielsen's goal. Torup there seemed to have lost the impetus with the move. But then Nielsen won it back off Jensen, went on, the ball ballooned in the air off Keown, Seaman checked and wasn't too sure, and Nielsen was just allowed to run on and tuck it inside. And now at the other end, here's Alan Smith. Could have gone down, he didn't. As Arsenal, well, they want to win on the night. It would be seen as more than disappointing if they don't actually win the match. But it's 1-1 at the moment, and Kevin Campbell's single goal has been enough to carry Arsenal through to the second round of the Cup Winners' Cup. Odense managed to exert a little pressure in the closing stages because of the tenacity of Alan Nielsen, who went on to score a goal that Arsenal really gifted to him. But it's good enough on the night as a 1-1 draw for Arsenal. They go through 3-2 on aggregate. George, safely through, but you put some unnecessary pressure on yourself at the end, didn't you?
That's what keeps me slim, the last 5 minutes, you know, when they get the equaliser and you think if they get another one, then it's all square, it's level then. But they actually came, and I think they were going to make sure they weren't going to lose 3, 4 or 5-0. I thought they got everybody back behind the ball, well organised, and 1 or 2 good players. I thought Chiami, the centre forward, was very dangerous, and I think Martin Keown did a great job on him tonight. But we'd plenty of the ball, defensively excellent. Midfield and the attacking third, midfield and the forwards, I thought were a bit disappointing tonight. We didn't really capitalise on the few chances we had, and we looked as if it was all an effort tonight.
Well, Saint, a good result for George Graham's waistline, but...
Isn't it amazing it went the same as a Villa?
Yeah.
You know, 4 minutes from the end, they lose a goal, and it's all panic stations.
I got the feeling he was a bit disappointed there overall. Do you share that disappointment?
Yeah, I think so. Again, like Villa, they had early pressure and had chances, and really, you know, Kevin Campbell scored a goal and should really have got more than the one. This is the goal. You always feel with the Arsenal, you know, they're going to score from set pieces. And look at Campbell, acres of space, simply because the Arsenal move people around at set plays, and it gives people a chance, you know. It's very difficult to mark them. This... Again,
was another here.
Oh, this was a lovely chip of Jensen's, and it just sat up. Campbell went up too early. He's waiting for it coming down, and of course he doesn't get any power in it, Jim, because he was on his way down when the ball arrived at him.
How about Seaman and Dixon here?
This was really a bit of a mix-up between the two of them. When the ball spun up in the air, Dixon's looking at the goalkeeper saying, "Come on, then, you come." Goalkeeper's looking at Dixon saying, "Well, it's your ball, really," and between the two of them, ends up in the back of the net. So, I mean, these misunderstandings happen in football, even with quality international players.
OK, Saint, thank you very much indeed. Well, next, the goals from Manchester United, all these significant results from Europe, action from Ayresome Park as well, Middlesbrough and Leicester from the top of the First Division. Kicks it off with the Champions Cup.
Cork City 0, Galatasaray 1, 3-1 to the Turkish champions on aggregate. FC Copenhagen 4, Linfield 0 after extra time. The gallant Northern Irish go out, but it was very close. Copenhagen only forced extra time with a goal in the last minute. Levski Sofia 2, Rangers 1, 4-4 on aggregate, but Rangers go out on away goals. Nikolai Todorov, the Bulgarian international, got the winner for Levski in the 90th minute, just when it looked as though Ian Durrant's goal was set to take Rangers through. Manchester United 2, Honved 1, as we've seen. In the UEFA Cup, Aston Villa 2, Slovan Bratislava 1. Celtic 1, Young Boys of Bern 0 after extra time. An own goal from Alan Bowman after 106 minutes won it for Celtic. So one half of Glasgow is still in Europe. Vitesse Arnhem 0, Norwich 0. Norwich comfortably through after that very impressive first leg. And in the European Cup Winners' Cup, Aberdeen 4, Valur 0, 7-0 to Aberdeen. Arsenal 1, Odense 1, Shelbourne 1, Panathinaikos 2. In the Ensley Insurance League Division 1, Middlesbrough 2, Leicester City 0. Middlesbrough go top. The goals from that one coming up. It was a bit of a surprise at Ayresome Park, really. Middlesbrough hadn't won in 4 league games. Leicester had won their last 4 all away, but Middlesbrough, with Josh Hendry having one of his better nights, always looked the more likely. And 32 minutes in, Hendry's clever flick and Paul Wilkinson's left foot got them the goal. They'd been threatening. A win would have moved Middlesbrough level with the leaders Crystal Palace, but they needed another goal to go above them to the top. And midway through the second half, Hendry thumped in his 9th of the season. Middlesbrough, the new leaders, Leicester drop to 4th.
Gabriel, thank you very much indeed. Saint, a brief comment from you on what we've seen tonight?
I've enjoyed it. I thought United played very well. I was happy for the Villa and, of course, Arsenal as well. It's nice to see our boys getting in there. Disappointed about Rangers.
I thought you might be. Thanks for your company, Saint. Well, the next big football date here on ITV, a fortnight's time. October the 13th, England's World Cup destiny will be decided in Rotterdam. Holland against England, the whole match, it's live. It's only on this channel, a huge sporting occasion. Also, the Republic of Ireland, Spain in Dublin, live in the afternoon, and the Republic could well seal their place in the States. We've seen, though, a win treble for England. Villa's storming start sees them through. Arsenal's set-piece expertise, crucial once again. Manchester United, well, they march on, thanks to a brace from Bruce. A few scary moments along the way, though. They're all still standing. Bye-bye.